impeccable knowledge which has remained unchanged. But this knowledge has changed the lives of millions. So let us also become a sincere seeker of this gospel of knowledge, which is given directly by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This wisdom is called Bhagavad Gita. So we'll begin with the invocation, our prayers, so that we receive this knowledge in our heart and we apply it and take advantage of this knowledge. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padkamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarine Hare Krishna. So we have just begun the last session. We started to discuss from the 4th chapter. As we have many times spoken and emphasized that the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita constitute one section. And this section is Karma Yoga leading to Bhakti. How through our activities, how through our actions, how through our occupation, we can satisfy the Supreme Lord. So, I'll show some of the slides today. This is connecting from the previous sessions, the previous chapter. Is the screen visible? Yes, no? Well, the slideshow has to come. Rashid Prabhu, is the screen visible?
Yes, Prabhuji. But that if it is slideshow, then it will be more visible.
Okay,
Possible you can.
It is not showing the option of slideshow. Anyway, so we'll continue without this slideshow. So we saw in the third chapter, continuing with the third chapter, Krishna spoke about Karma Yoga. How we should perform action which can become Yajna. And Yajna means to connect with the Supreme Lord. And the biggest obstacle which does not allow us to be established in Karma Yoga or to make our every action qualified to become a sacrifice, Krishna spoke two reasons. Anyone remembers? Would like to participate? What were the two reasons? What are the biggest stumbling blocks in our performance of Karma Yoga for every action connecting to the Supreme Lord? We discussed very deeply in the third chapter. Yes, Sonika?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
And Prabhuji, one reason is lust.
Yeah. And where is it born? It is born from the mode of
Mode of passion.
passion. So, to be elevated, to be able to overcome from the mode of passion, one has to be situated in the mode of goodness. And how one can be situated in the mode of goodness, how one can elevate himself from the mode of passion, that is to be situated in knowledge. So Krishna is giving this transcendental knowledge. This chapter is entitled Transcendental Knowledge. The Sanskrit name for this chapter is Gyan Prapti Upaya Yoga. How one can become the recipient of this jnana. So this jnana is a result of one performing devotion, selfless devotional service. It is not due to one's intellect or one's academic qualification. Normally we always, assign jnana, but who can receive knowledge? One who is very intellectually inclined. No. So this is different jnana. This jnana, Krishna is talking about yogam. In the first two verses, Krishna clarified that this is the yogam. And this yoga is one's relationship with the Supreme Lord. So Krishna is talking about this transcendental relationship. So this transcendental knowledge is nothing but the transcendental relationship of the living entity with the Supreme Lord. And this knowledge was passed on. Krishna gave the history. In the first verse, Krishna gave the history of this knowledge, that this is Yoga Prokta Puratana. It is not nothing new that Krishna is experimenting to Arjuna, but rather Krishna is renewing the same knowledge which was given millions of years back. And Krishna said this was received by the saintly kings, not ordinary people, by the saintly kings. And what is the purpose of this knowledge? The purpose of this knowledge is to protect the citizens from the influence of lust. Very important. So unless and until one is situated in transcendental knowledge, one becomes a recipient of transcendental knowledge, there is no possibility for him to be released from lust or to be elevated from the mode of passion. To invoke transcendental knowledge, one needs this relationship. Because lust is his eternal enemy. So unless and until one is established in this eternal relationships, that yogam, one cannot conquer lust. So Krishna is giving this eternal education. And Krishna spoke in the second verse, he says that this knowledge, this transcendental knowledge, which is coming to the disciplic succession, first he spoke to sun god Vivaswan, And Vivaswan gave it to his son Manu, and then it came to Ikshvaku. And then it was lost. Why it was lost? We discussed, because there was no one who was sincerely following in the parampara system, in the disciplic succession. So having spoken this, now Krishna will further speak that why is he selecting Arjuna. So today our focus, our spotlight will be that why only Arjuna? Why amongst all the personalities present at the time of Mahabharata war, why only Krishna selected Arjuna and no one else? There were many, many more qualified persons as compared to Arjuna. There was the Vyasadeva himself. Vyasadeva is the literary incarnation of the Supreme Lord. His appearance is to give scriptures, to give Shastra. But he was not selected by the Lord. There was Dharmaraj. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to establish Dharma. There was Dharmaraj personified himself present at the battlefield. Maharaj Yudhishthir, but still Krishna did not select him. There were very qualified Brahmanas. Brahmanas are said to be the most deserving candidate to receive Gyan, to receive knowledge. It is the Brahmanical occupation of Pathan Pathan and Yajan Yajan is to receive knowledge and to impart knowledge. So if Krishna was to impart this highest knowledge, the obvious choice would have been the exalted Brahmanas, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, and so many others. So many sages were present. Bhishma Dev himself was present, but none of them was selected. Why? What is so very special about Arjuna? How Arjuna stands out to become the recipient of this transcendental knowledge over and above all. So that secret is disclosed by Krishna himself in this third verse. Very interesting. So Krishna reveals that why he chose Arjuna only. And last session we discussed that this knowledge was covered, or it was broken from the succession for many, many millions of years. Anyone remembers how many millions of years back Krishna spoke? We discussed some calculations, some mathematics in the last session. So it was spoken at least 2 million years. Prabhupada says that a rough estimate is that Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago. And in the human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. For 2 million years, Krishna did not find any suitable candidate fit to speak Bhagavad Gita. So what is that very special qualification, that attitude of Arjuna, which qualifies him to become the recipient of Bhagavad Gita? Very interesting for us, those who are aspiring to receive this knowledge. So they should be very keen to know what is so very outstanding about Arjuna. So why? Because if we can follow in the footsteps of Arjuna, we will also become fortunate to receive this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the third verse. We begin today's session with the third verse. So Krishna continues to speak this transcendental knowledge. And here in this section, Krishna is revealing that why he chose only Arjuna. Sa evayam mayate adya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttama. So Krishna is saying, Sa eva ayam mayate adya. Sa means the same. So Arjuna, I am not making you object of experiment. I am not trying anything new with you. I am giving you the same knowledge. Which knowledge? That knowledge which I spoke millions of years back to the Sun God. And it came down through the disciplic succession. Adya. Adya means today. So that which was spoken millions of years back is being re-spoken again. It is being renewed. It is being revived. It is being again renewed today. What is that knowledge? What is that science? It says yoga. That science is of yoga. And what is that yoga? The science of relationship. And that yoga is proktaha. It is being spoken, which is puratana. Puratana means it is very, very since time immemorial. There is no history date from when it was spoken. So don't worry, Arjuna, I am not giving you something which is new, there is a trial here. No, it is already tested. It has been tested by the duration of time. And why I am giving this to you only exclusively, Arjuna, this second line is very, very important. Krishna says, Bhakto si me sakha cheti. Because you are my bhaktaha. Bhakta means a devotee. And devotee means one who is surrendered to Krishna. And what does surrender mean? One who unconditionally loves Krishna. The process of surrender is only possible for those who are in love. Otherwise, it is not possible. Many times the example is given. A relationship between mother and her child. See? There is no condition. The mother, very selflessly, she serves the child by offering everything. She offers everything of her body. She offers her loving feelings. Whatever she possesses, she offers to serve, nourish, and nurture the child. And the child is also completely dependent on the mother. If the mother feeds, then only he can have milk. Why? Because he is dependent on mother's milk. You know, and infancy is a very nice example. The first 6 months, the child is fully dependent on mothers. He cannot have anything from outside. So, bhakto si me sakhaji. So, this is the very special qualification which Arjuna possesses. That he is a bhakta, not an ordinary bhakta. One may say, others were not bhakta. Were the other Pandavas, Yudhishthir was not bhakta of Krishna? Was Bhim not bhakta? Was Nakul and Sahadev not bhakta? There were others also. Was Kunti not bhakta? Or was Draupadi not bhakta? Or was Bhishma not bhakta? They were all bhakta. But Arjuna's bhakti had a very special flavor. Why? But not only he was a bhakta, bhakto si me sakha cheti. Not only you are my devotee, you are also my friend. So this is very, very outstanding in one's yoga, in one's relationship with Krishna. Because Krishna is so kind and so liberal that he allows a very special relationship with each and every individual soul. There is no limitation. And there is no stereotype relationship. With every jiva, Krishna fosters a very unique relationship. Along with devotee, he can be his friend. And being a friend of Krishna, what Arjuna could do? Arjuna could even keep his feet, his legs on the shoulder of Krishna. Then Krishna became the charioteer. Arjuna used to tap him by his feet. Can anyone do that with Lord Ram? Lord Ram also had friends. Who were Lord Ram's friends? Sugriva. There was another one, Nishad Raj, Vibhishan. But there is Maryada. there is certain restriction. They cannot even put their arms around the shoulder of Lord Ram. Or can anyone dare to do that with Lord Vishnu? No. So Krishna is Rasraj. He exchanges the mellows. What is the mellow? Of loving relationship. And in that loving relationship, he allows his devotee to take a superior position. So bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Because you are my friend and you are my devotee. And that friendship is so intimate that it covers the reverence. There are two aspects. One is the respect and the other is of intimacy. So whenever we have respect, where there is the culture of respect, where there is awe and reverence, one cannot have intimacy. You see, like a relationship between husband and wife. There is intimacy. That brings sweetness. And reverence means respect. So Krishna allows intimacy and sweetness in every relationship. And how much Krishna values that relationship is here seen in the Bhagavad Gita scene. That this intimacy which he had with Arjuna as his Sakha and also his Bhakta. So Krishna is selecting only Arjuna. So this is the main principal reason, that because Arjuna was in such friendly, loving relationship with Krishna. And Arjuna was also not just his friend, but also his devotee. So Krishna is saying, Rahasyam hi etad uttamam. So I am disclosing the topmost secret. So this Bhagavad Gita is a mystical book, a very mystical book. It seems very simple, but to be able to comprehend it, to understand it, and what to speak of apply it seems impossible. Why? Because this is mystical, very confidential. Rahasyam. Rahasyam is something which is a secret. And what kind of secret is this? Uttamam. Highest degree of secret. What is that secrecy? Is that yogam. Is that science of relationship. So now let us see the translation. That very ancient science of relationship. This is yoga. This is Bhagavad Gita. People say Bhagavad Gita is philosophy book. No. Bhagavad Gita is loving relationship. Through the message of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is giving invitation to foster loving relationship with him. So Prabhupada is saying that very ancient science of relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend. And can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the sign. So unless and until one has this relationship, one is situated in this yoga relationship, he cannot become the recipient. He cannot understand the transcendental mystery of Bhagavad Gita. That is why most of the people, not most of the, almost everyone, whoever tries to understand Bhagavad Gita is impossible. Because what is the qualification required? Qualification is must be in yoga. He must be having that relationship. And how that relationship is established? In the last verse, Krishna said, it is through parampara. The coming in the disciplic succession. Evam parampara prapta. So when does yoga begin? That when we accept Krishna and his representative as our authority, like Arjuna did. And in that relationship, he agrees to serve, to please Krishna. Then this transcendental mystery of Bhagavad Gita can be revealed, this science can be revealed. Otherwise, it is not possible. So many times we give the example, like the ghee, the clarified butter is already contained in milk. But when we receive milk, can we have that clarified butter, ghee? No. There is a process. One has to go through the process. So Prabhupada says in the purport that there are two classes of men, namely the devotee and the demon. So when we will come to the 16th chapter, Krishna speaks this. He will classify in the 16th chapter, which is divine and demoniac, where he says that Tvabhut sargo loke asmin dev asura evacha. That in this creation, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other is called the demoniac. Prabhupada begins by quoting these two divisions. And who is divine and who is demoniac? What is the difference? What is the difference between divine and demoniac? I need a little more participation from your side, not just that I am speaking. Only one hand, Sonika. What is the essential difference between divine and demoniac?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, who is following the instruction given by Supreme Lord is divine, and who is not following, they are demoniac.
Yeah. In particular, the scriptures. Ye shastra vidhi utsrijyam vartate kamakarata. Nasa siddhim avapnoti, na sukham, na param gati. So what is the basic difference between who is divine and demoniac? Those who follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures. So they are divine. That means they accept the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because all the scriptures are emanating from the Supreme Lord. So the Lord selected Arjuna as the recipient of this great science, owing to his being a devotee of the Lord. This is the first and the foremost qualification. So Bhagavad Gita is spoken to whom? To those who are devotees. But when Srila Prabhupada started to preach, he published Bhagavad Gita as it is. So what is the situation of the current world now? Prabhupada in his purports writes that 99.99% population is Naradhama. Adhama means fallen. Fallen from where? From the human platform. So they are what? Are they divine? No, they are demoniac. So what to do? And this Bhagavad Gita can be received by only those who are divine. So Bhagavad Gita is for devotee, and a devotee, when he preaches, he converts the demoniac to become divine. But to the extent we are converting our heart from being demoniac, of not following the authority, of not following the scriptural rules and regulations, to come to the stage of following them sincerely, to that extent we can understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna excelled in it. He had full faith and full respect in the authority of Sri Krishna. So Krishna selected Arjuna because Arjuna is his devotee. That is why Krishna, in the second chapter, when he chastised Arjuna, Arjuna did not say that I am going back. What do you think? I am the greatest archer. And what are you calling me? You are calling me an eunuch. Arjuna accepted it. Arjuna accepted the chastisement. And he surrendered to Krishna. He said, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tam Prapan. You please instruct me, you please guide me. I am thoroughly confused. I am not able to decide what is my dharma. So Prabhupada is saying, for the demon, it is not possible to understand this great mysterious science. there are numbers of editions of this great book of knowledge. Some of them have commentaries by the devotees and some of them have commentaries by the demons. So Bhagavad Gita is so popular. Bhagavad Gita is so widely accepted in all parts of the world, by all classes of the world, that there are more than thousands of commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. But all of the commentary, none of the commentary is truly by the devotees. Very few, very, very few. That is why we see that when Prabhupada gives his preface, he echoes this disappointment. He says that there is hardly any bona fide commentary of Bhagavad Gita available. If you see the introduction there, Prabhupada is saying that recently an American lady asked me to recommend an English translation of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, in America, there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita available in English. But as far as I have seen, not only in America, but also in India, none of them can be strictly said to be authoritative, because in almost every one of them, the commentator has expressed his own opinion, without touching the spirit of Bhagavad Gita as it is. So here Prabhupada is emphasizing on this, that there are so many editions of Bhagavad Gita, but do not think that any edition and every edition is the same. Commentaries by the devotees is real, whereas that of the demons is useless. So who is a demon? He may be a writer of Bhagavad Gita. He may be a presenter of Bhagavad Gita philosophy. But Prabhupada is saying that the commentary by the demon is useless. So in the garb of a devotee, he is actually demon. And by his academic qualification, he is a scholar that is able to give commentary on Bhagavad Gita. But Prabhupada is saying that such people's comments or their commentary is useless. Why? Because they have not touched on the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. And what is the qualification of Arjuna? That Arjuna entered into the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. If you will carefully study the introduction, so Prabhupada, the first topic Prabhupada talks is the spirit of Bhagavad Gita. And what is the spirit? The spirit is of submission. The spirit is of subservience. The spirit is of surrender. So this is the outstanding quality of Arjuna. Arjuna never had any doubt in Krishna. That is why Arjuna selected Krishna. And Arjuna rejected the Narayani Sena. And that too, Krishna would not take up any weapon, use any weapon in the war. He would just be a charioteer. But that is the conviction or the clarity which Arjuna is carrying in his heart as a devotee. He is always assured that wherever there is Krishna, there is victory. Jayastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. So unless and until one is into that spirit of accepting the absolute position of Krishna as Arjuna has accepted, one cannot enter into the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada is saying that unless Arjuna accepts Sri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service. So Prabhupada is very generously glorifying Arjuna. How much? So much so that he is saying that any commentary on the Gita following in the footsteps of Arjuna. So Arjuna is an Acharya. Arjuna has been selected by Krishna, and whoever follows in the footsteps, what is the footstep to be followed? When who accepts Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Krishna is the supreme absolute truth, the cause of all causes. He is Asam Urdhava, that no one is equal or superior to him. Everyone else is his subservient. So the absolute authority, the ultimate authority is Lord Shri Krishna. And what has to do? One has to serve him. Prabhupada says, footsteps is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. The demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. It is not easy, not possible. Unless and until Prabhupada writes in his purport, he says, unless and until one is completely free from sin, unless and until one is pure, one cannot come to this point of knowing that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the 7th chapter, Krishna also speaks of this verse, that Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandvoho nirmukta bhajante mam dhrida vrata. Why we are not able to do bhakti with dhrida vrata, with determination? Why? Because we do not have that punya karmanam. Those pious credits are not there. That purity is not there in the heart. So pure and pristine is the heart of Arjuna. And Krishna enjoys his association with Arjuna to such an extent that Krishna revealed this most transcendental secret in the heart of Arjuna. Because Arjuna's heart is so pure and it is filled with glories of Krishna. What is Bhagavad Gita actually? Bhagavad Gita is glory of Krishna. So who can receive Bhagavad Gita? One who in his heart who has love for Krishna. Duryodhana also heard Bhagavad Gita. Dhritarashtra heard Bhagavad Gita 1-1. But what was the situation of his heart? Nothing entered his heart. Nothing. He came to know after hearing Bhagavad Gita that all his sons will die. They will all be killed in this battlefield. But still, he could not take advantage. He could not stop the death of his most attached sons. So if a non-devotee who does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is not situated in yoga, one who does not have that sweet and loving relationship with Krishna, he cannot receive this knowledge. He cannot be established in this yoga. So Krishna is very boldly declaring here, Bhakto si mein sakha cheti. Because you are my devotee. Prabhupada says this is the exceptional qualification. You are my devotee. You know that I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Devotee means what? Devotee means that he is convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Otherwise, he is a devotee in show only. And show will not work. The substance is that this conviction must be there in his heart. And therefore you have surrendered. And what it means that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that one must surrender unto Krishna or his representative. The Prabhupada says herein we have to understand that unless one is a devotee of Lord Krishna, it is not possible to understand Bhagavad Gita. Nobody can understand Bhagavad Gita unless he is a devotee of Lord Krishna. That is the first qualification. So Krishna here clearly says, Bhaktosi, you are not only my friend, there are many friends. Krishna had so many friends. Not only boyfriends, Krishna has many, many thousands of girlfriends. Sakhis, gopis. But Krishna did not select anyone to be the recipients. Prabhupada is saying there are many friends. I can find many friends. But you are not only my friend, you are a great devotee. So this is the very outstanding qualification that Arjuna has. Now what is his attitude? The attitude behind being his friend that we will see in the 11th chapter when Arjuna will glorify Krishna is to serve Krishna. Is not to take advantage. Like in our case, somehow we come to know That one of our old friend, our batchmate, what is he now? Now he is the chief minister of a state. And what will be the desire? Okay, let us, go and meet him. Let us revive our relationship with him, renew our relationship with him. Why? Because he is very influential. He has very big post and position. And that post and position, we can get some help. Not that is the attitude of Arjuna. Arjuna's attitude is to serve and please Krishna. The Prabhupada is writing, see, the purport is very, very deep. Whoever following in the footsteps of Arjuna is real devotional service to the cause of this great science. So this friendship, this intimacy which Arjuna has or Arjuna enjoys is to serve Krishna, is to please Krishna. Not to take advantage from his position of being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, you can understand the real sense of Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, I am speaking to you. And for others, there is no possibility. Prabhupada writes in one of his purport that rights are reserved. Apart from these two reasons, Krishna gives another reason for not speaking this to inferior person, because it is most secret. So one who is not having this science of relationship, one who is not in yoga, and not only one has to be only friendly with Krishna, being his devotee. Krishna allows to take the position of his parents, Nanda and Yashoda. One can exchange the mellow, the rasa of Vatsalya, not just Sakhya, with Vatsalya. Even one can go higher. One can have conjugal love with Krishna. One can become Krishna's servant. So Krishna invites each and every living entity to foster very, very special and intimate relationship with. And whoever is fortunate, who accepts this invitation. So what is this science? This science is of relationship. This transcendental knowledge means transcendental relationship. And Arjuna is very firmly situated. Now, what is the attitude of Arjuna? Is to serve Krishna, is to please Krishna. So the relationship becomes even more sweeter, even more thicker. Like you have seen the milk. The more you boil the milk becomes condensed. And naturally, the milk becomes sweetened. As it becomes condensed, it becomes sweetened. So this is very special position, very special privilege of Arjuna, that Arjuna had this relationship. The Prabhupada says further, the demoniac, however, do not accept Lord Krishna as he is. Instead, they concoct something about Krishna and mislead general readers from the path of Krishna's instruction. So Prabhupada is very, very heavy. Prabhupada is warning us, he is cautioning us that do not pick up any commentary of Bhagavad Gita. I have read, before coming to Krishna consciousness also, I have read few of the commentaries of Bhagavad Gita. But after reading Srila Prabhupada's commentary, there is such clarity, such depth, such conviction. No other Bhagavad Gita is required. This is the most amazing, this is the most accurate and the most, inspiring commentary by Prabhupada. Why? Because this is not written by Prabhupada. Prabhupada never claimed. That is why Prabhupada gave this title to his commentary of Bhagavad Gita as it is, Yatharu. As Krishna spoke and as Arjuna understood. Our acharyas, they have not only entered into the heart of Krishna, they already reside in the heart of Krishna. Tamara Hriday Sada Govinda Vishram. But Srila Prabhupada, he enters into the heart of Arjuna also to be able to know that what is the assimilation, what is the feelings, with which Arjuna is receiving Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna is inquiring from Krishna. Then only it is Bhagavad Gita as it is. Actually, it is Arjuna Gita. This Gita is spoken to Arjuna. And how this Gita is received to us? Because Arjuna put such intelligent questions. We will see in the next shloka, after hearing the origin and the lineage of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is very, very sharp. He's a very intelligent person. He's not an ordinary person. So he puts that very relevant inquiry. In this fourth chapter only, Krishna will say that one of the way of serving the spiritual master is pariprashnena, is to inquire on the subject matter with relevant inquiries. So Arjuna was not thinking that, oh, how fortunate I am or how privileged I am. That Krishna is saying, Rahasyami etad uttamam. He has only selected me to receive this knowledge. Arjuna is not thinking, Arjuna is not elated, or he is not, overjoyed that he has been only selected. But Arjuna is thinking for the benefit of others. How do we know that? By the next verse, where Arjuna puts this question. The fourth verse. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma parjanma vivasvata kathameta dvijaniyam tvamado proktavaniti. So Arjuna is inquiring. So Arjuna is constantly, he is so much absorbed in the subject matter that immediately when Krishna spoke about this yoga prokta puratana, that I am giving you this very, very ancient science, which was spoken to me by so many millenniums back. Arjuna has no doubt, but Arjuna is thinking about the welfare of others. So, seeing the mindset of others, people in Kali Yuga, immediately they will doubt. There will be an element of question in their heart. So Arjuna is representing the conditioned soul also. So he is inquiring. What he is saying? Aparam bhavato janma. That you seem to be, Krishna, you and me are contemporary. Both of us are of the same age. So your birth is almost at the same time when I was born. And you are talking about giving this knowledge to Vivaswan. And what to speak about the birth of Vivaswan? That is Param Janma Vivasvata. Param means which is superior. Superior means which is older. And Aparam. Aparam means which is junior or which is later. So how two can equate? Someone who is very, very senior, who is very, very superior, who is very, very old, and someone who is very, very new, who is very, very junior. How two can equate? So he is putting this inquiry that how both katham etad vijaniyam. Katham means is how, etad is this subject matter which you are speaking, or this timeline that you are giving. Vijaniyam. How can I assimilate or understand this? Tvamado proktavaniti. That this knowledge which you are giving to me was spoken to Vivaswan millions of years back. How did you speak? So your birth is contemporary to my birth. Like someone says that the class that I am giving today is the same class which I gave to Aurangzeb. What Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb was how many centuries back? You are born now. So how can you speak this to Aurangzeb? Why should I say Aurangzeb? Prithviraj Chauhan. Aurangzeb will never hear Bhagavad Gita. He did not have the piety to even accept Bhagavad Gita. So how is it possible? So please clarify this. Please clarify this thought or this doubt which is there. Immediately, people in this age of Kali, people on the age of Kali, what are they? They do a lot of self-analysis. Their mind is always very, very much in motion, very much in thought process. They are absorbed in their own thoughts. So you say, they will be entangled by this thought that you are giving. This is the same science which you spoke so many millions of years back. So actually this question is very glorious. Because by asking this question, Arjuna is provoking Krishna to speak about his glories. If Arjuna would not have inquired on this question, how will Krishna speak about himself? So for the first time in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna will speak about Krishna Tattva. That how he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, how the Supreme Absolute Truth. This is a very important question and very, very intelligent question, which has been put by Arjuna. Arjuna said, the sun god Vivaswan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him? Seems like a very innocuous, very innocent question. How am I to understand? You are contemporary, you are taking birth now, and you are claiming that centuries, millions of centuries back, you gave this science, this knowledge to Vivaswan. So how am I to accept this? How am I to relate to this? So Prabhupada says in the purport that Arjuna is an accepted devotee of the Lord. So how could he not believe Krishna's words? So we have seen already Krishna has glorified Arjuna. That Arjuna is Bhakto si me sakha cheti. And what does Bhakta means? One who accepts the authority of the Supreme Lord, who never doubts. So there is no doubt in the heart of Arjuna. So what is the reason? Prabhupada says, the fact is that Arjuna is not inquiring for himself, but for those who do not believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or for the demons. So Prabhupada is continuing from the last purport, where he's saying that there are two classes of men. So what is the difference between, again, the difference is there. Divine means that he accepts whatever Krishna says. And demon means he doubts. Arey, aise kaise keh diya Krishna? How can he claim that he spoke this science to sun god? Let me first verify. Let me first check. Let me see the history dates. This is all sign of demons who do not accept the authority of Krishna. For the demons who do not like the idea that Krishna should be accepted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is what? This is all a mood of challenge. This is the attitude of challenge. Challenging the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For them only Arjuna inquires on this point. If he were himself not aware of the personality of Godhead or Krishna, as it will be evident from the 10th chapter, Arjuna knew perfectly well that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the fountainhead of everything, and the last word in transcendence. So Arjuna, in his own heart, he had no trace of doubt. Doubt means demoniac mentality. Doubt means that not accepting Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because we are trying to equate ourselves with the Supreme Lord. So what will happen? Our intelligence will fail. Our reasoning will fail. With that teeny, Prabhupada says that a very teeny, 1 to the 10,000 part of the tip of the hair. That is our constitutional position. And what is the size of our intelligence? And with that very minuscule, infinitesimal intelligence, we are trying to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So their doubt means demon, not accepting the authority of Krishna. So of course, Krishna also appeared as the son of Devaki on this earth. How Krishna remained the same personality of Godhead, the eternal original person, is very difficult. Prabhupada is himself revealing here. Is very difficult for an ordinary man to understand. Therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna puts this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world, not only at present, but from time immemorial. And the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna puts this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons. So see, this is devotional service. This is the attitude of Arjuna. Why he is inquiring this question? To establish the glory of Krishna. And he is, as I said, he is invoking Krishna to speak and reveal about himself. How can we know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? How he is transcendental? How he is over and above everyone? So all those details, those final details will come from the next verses, which we will discuss from the next session. Next session will not be on 17th. Today is 10th. 17th we are traveling to Jagannath Puri. So next session will be on 24th. Krishna willing in IERI. So 17th there won't be a session. But be very prepared. So in the next session, Krishna will speak about himself. Krishna will reveal his transcendental position. That how the same person who is now speaking to Arjuna, that same person spoke to the sun god Vivaswan millions of years back. And how time and the kala, the time factor has not been able to touch or influence the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whereas in this mortal world, everything is destroyed by time. But that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Time is his energy. And an energetic is always in control of his energy. He is not controlled by his energy. Rather, he controls the energy. So Prabhupada is saying, so Arjuna, therefore, to clarify this point, Arjuna put this question before Krishna so that he himself could speak authoritatively with Krishna will from the verse 5. That Krishna is the supreme authority is accepted by the whole world. Not only at present, but from time immemorial. Okay, and the demons alone reject him. Anyway, since Krishna is the authority accepted by all, Arjuna put this question before him in order that Krishna would describe himself without being depicted by the demons, who always tries to distort him in a way understandable to the demons and their followers. So distort means to misrepresent, to deviate or to degrade from the original position. So what is the original position? The original position is of Arjuna. Arjuna who accepts the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and never doubts. It is necessary, therefore, for his own interest, know the signs of Krishna. Therefore, when Krishna himself speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the world. So, what more auspicious is there? That when the Supreme Lord himself reveals the secret. So, what is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita is the great mystery, a great secret, which is revealed by the Supreme Lord personally himself. Why? To give the greatest benefit to the living entity in the human form of life. Therefore, when Krishna speaks about himself, it is auspicious for all the world. To the demons, such explanation by Krishna himself may appear to be strange. So we can see, we can evaluate how much we are inclined to what Krishna is speaking or how much we are doubting. Prabhupada is saying that to the demons, such explanation by Krishna himself may appear to be strange, because the demons always study Krishna from their own standpoint. What is their standpoint? Is material standpoint. And Krishna is transcendental. He is beyond matter. He is beyond mind. He is beyond intelligence. So how can they know Krishna? Or how can they understand Krishna? So what they will do? They will always misunderstand or misrepresent or misquote. But those who are devotees heartily welcome the statement of Krishna when they are spoken by Krishna himself. You see the joy which Prabhupada is expressing? Because the next verse, Krishna will speak about himself. The devotees will always worship such authoritative statements of Krishna. What is Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, each statement is authoritative statement of Krishna. Because they are always eager to know more and more about him. The atheist who consider Krishna an ordinary man may in this way come to know that Krishna is superhuman, that he is Sachidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and that he is transcendental, and that he is above the domination of the modes of material nature, and above the influence of time and space. A devotee of Krishna like Arjuna is undoubtedly above any misunderstanding of this transcendental position of Krishna. Arjuna putting this question before the Lord is simply an attempt by the devotee to defy the atheistic attitude. Both, Arjuna wants to glorify the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and he also wants to defy the atheistic attitude of persons who consider Krishna to be an ordinary human being subject to the modes of material nature. So we see in these two verses the very, very glorious position of Arjuna. And how Arjuna has attained this glorious position is owing to his service attitude and the conviction he has in his heart. So Bhakta of Krishna means that he accepts the authority and statement of Krishna as the absolute, without a doubt. He accepts it, he applies it, and he glorifies the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I'll stop here. In the next session, we will see Krishna will speak of how he is supreme and how no one else can compare to him. And that very, very famous verses of his reason for appearing, why Krishna appears in this world, and why his appearance and activities both are so mystical. So all those secrets Krishna will reveal. The next section is, this section is very, very interesting section. So Krishna is revealing his own transcendental position, the Krishna Tattva. Why? Because one comes to know that Krishna is the Supreme. What is the obvious outcome of knowing that Krishna is the Supreme? I'm asking you. If one knows that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, what is the natural outcome of this knowledge? Now, what should be the natural outcome? Most of the people are all video off, as always. Pranab Prabhu?
We have to take this knowledge very seriously, this instruction.
We have to take this knowledge seriously, that is there. But what is the natural outcome of one who has received this knowledge, this transcendental knowledge?
We have to follow the instruction of Lord Krishna.
It's still not clear. Still not very convincing and clear. Devadatta, you try.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
If someone understands that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead
and its conviction will increase, and its his level of bhakti and surrendering towards Krishna will genuinely increase. If
He
he
will be
heartily accepts it.
surrendered to Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
He will be surrendered to Krishna. He will be in intense love with Krishna. This transcendental, that is this science of relationship. Krishna is giving this science of relationship. Freedom from material nature is very low. That is not transcendental knowledge. That is not the yoga of one's loving relationship with the Lord. Someone wrote that one will be free from the material mode. That any jnani is free from the material mode. We are not talking about that jnana of academic knowledge. We are talking about the knowledge of the jiva with the Supreme Lord. That eternal relationship. And that is that eternal education which Krishna is reviving with Arjuna, through Arjuna. Okay, we have some time, some discussion or some question. Yes, Sonika?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you have mentioned means in the 4.3, it was mentioned that Bhakto si me sakha cheti means this was the qualification or this was the quality of Arjuna. That's why Krishna revealed this mystic knowledge towards and in front of Arjuna. But is the same quality was with the Vivaswan also?
Yes, yes. Otherwise, why will he receive?
Okay, means he was also a good friend as well as the devotee of Krishna.
Of course, he was the devotee of Krishna, and we don't know which, rasa or relationship they had, whether it was sakha or it was vatsalya or dasya. That we don't know. That I don't want to speculate. But foremost is that he has to be a bhakta. So Krishna says, Bhakto si me sakha cheti. The principal qualification is to be a bhakta. And what it means to be a bhakta, we discussed to some extent. What it means to be a bhakta. There are so many bhaktas. There are some Mishrit bhaktas, Gyan Mishrit bhakta, Yog Mishrit bhakta. What kind of bhakta?
Bhakta who is fully surrendered, who is ready to serve only without any without any
without any conditions. Not any conditions. His existence is only for one reason, is to please his Lord. Nothing else.
So Prabhu,
Yeah. Good
so,
that unless and until one has that degree of relationship and love, how can he receive the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita? Not possible. Yes. What is your next question?
Prabhuji, you have given the example of Sakhis, means gopis also. So gopis are also means they are highly elevated devotees of Krishna. So they must be eligible for receiving this knowledge.
Yeah, they receive prayer. What is knowledge? What is the fruit of this knowledge? His love for Krishna. They already excelled. Their love is the highest form of love for Krishna.
Yes,
Aradhya
Prabhuji.
Bhagavan Brajesh Taneya Tad Dhamam Vrindavanam Ramya Kachi Dupasana Vrajavadu Vargena Va Kalpita. Upasana means worship. The highest form of worship is by whom? Ramya Kachit. Vrajavadhus, those gopis of Vrindavan. Their worship is the highest form of worship.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I have one more doubt.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, as it was mentioned that we should do Pariprashna in Sevya, means if we have doubt, we should ask through Guru Parampara. But if means how can we distinguish that it is Pariprashna in Sevya or demoniac doubt?
See, it is Pariprashnena, very simple. It is pertaining to subject matter. You see how Arjuna is doing Pariprashnena. Arjuna is asking the question which is based on what Krishna is explaining. Krishna explained that I gave this science, this very ancient science to Vivaswan. So Arjuna is inquiring on that point only. And what is the difference between divine and demoniac? See, in Kali Yuga, doubting is what is a sign of intelligence. Because there is some analysis. But when the answer, the solution is given, a divine will accept it. And he will advance. But what is the difference between a divine and a demonic? A demoniac will still not accept it. And he will argue or he will try to refute. Why? Because he does not accept the Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. So in our case, it is suggested, it is recommended that we do not accept, because blind acceptance is no sign of intelligence. But when the proper answer, the reason is given, then we should not argue or refute or remain stubborn. That is the sign of being demonic.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
We see will Arjuna will be convinced. When Krishna will give the reply, Arjuna will say, no, I don't accept this. I still don't understand. By common intelligence, can we understand that the same personality existed millions of years back? Will our intelligence allow us to understand that? Will our mind allow us to understand that? Unless and until it has become pure, it has become spiritual. The conditioned mind will always try to find some hole, will also try to find some lacuna somewhere and try to prove himself that I am better than you. If that continues, then how can we accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for asking relevant questions. Very well. Someone else? If there is any doubt, please ask. Or any question? Yes, Manoram Prabhu.
Prabhuji, this is a little bit relevant. Like Sanjaya also was given this opportunity to watch out what was going on. So whether yes, so he also had the same qualities like Arjuna, Prabhuji, or for momentarily he was given that opportunity to visualize.
See the quality of Sanjay. There are some verses in the final verses of Bhagavad Gita, what Sanjay is speaking. You see verse number 18.74. Sanjay said, thus I have heard the conversation of two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna, and so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Just here. By the mercy of Vyas, I have heard these most confidential talks directly from the master of all mystics, Krishna, who was speaking personally to Arjuna. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. O king, as I remember the wonderful form of Lord Krishna, I am struck with wonder more and more, and I rejoice again and again. Who will express this feeling? Where this joy can be experienced in the heart? Was Dhritarashtra experiencing this joy? Huh? So if one has really heard Bhagavad Gita, this should be the situation of his heart. He will rejoice like what Sanjay is rejoicing. Of course. See, Sanjay is not in direct relationship with Krishna. Actually, no jiva can come in direct relationship with Krishna. Sanjay is the disciple of Vyasadeva. And who is Vyasadeva? Vyasadeva is the direct representative of Krishna. So whatever was experienced by Arjuna, same ecstasy is being experienced by Sanjay. This is what Krishna is emphasizing. Evam parampara praptam. So this great science can be received in disciplic succession. Of course, Arjuna had direct disciplic succession with Krishna. But for all others to connect, we have to connect to the disciplic succession. What is the result? The result is the same. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
See the difference. Dhritarashtra, he was not in parampara. He was neither in parampara from Krishna. He is the seminal son. You'll be surprised. He is the seminal son of Vyasadeva. You know, he was injected in the womb of his mother by Vyasadeva because his father had died. But what was the problem? He never accepted the authority of Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva always told him not to be so partial against the Pandavas. But he did not accept it. So see, he was born, but still he could not take the advantage. So it is not you are born in the same family or how close you are. How it depends is how much sincere you are in accepting the authority and following the instruction. Then you can have the advantage. Otherwise, you may be in the same Prabhupada's family members. What benefit can they get? They had the most privileged position to take the benefit, but still they did not, because they did not accept the authority of Srila Prabhupada. What benefit they got? Nothing. They were deprived of the greatest benefit that they could have. So the very important, this principle Krishna is giving in this chapter is evam parampara praptam. One has to come into the disciplic succession. And what it means to be in disciplic succession is to accept the authority of Krishna and his representative. Then Krishna is rewarding this knowledge. This knowledge cannot be acquired by one's own effort, ability, intelligence. It is the gift of Krishna. One who is coming in that relationship. So of course, Sanjay is very solidly there in the relationship. Why is he reciting to Dhritarashtra? Because this was service given to him by his spiritual master Vyasadeva. I have shared with you this past time that before the beginning of the battle, Dhritarashtra met Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva told that if you want, you have been blind, I can give you the vision that you can see the battlefield. But he said, what is there to see? Because all my 100 sons will die in this battle. Why should I see which father will like to see his sons being killed? He knew the outcome, that all his sons will be killed. But still, what benefit could he get? Nothing. And all were killed. So only information does not give any advantage. How much we are accepting to apply it. How much we are accepting to transform, to change our own priorities, our thoughts, our ideas, our programs. To that extent, Krishna empowers. See how much Arjuna changed. He killed Bhishma and he killed Drona. We are not being asked by Krishna to do that. Are we being asked? Can we pay that price of becoming recipient of this knowledge? No, we cannot do that. It's very interesting. See the intimacy of Bhaktosi and Sakha Cheti. What is the intimacy? So Krishna is saying, you are very privileged, Arjuna. That is why I am speaking to you. And Arjuna, by asking this question, is giving an opportunity to Krishna to reveal his own glories. You see how intimate exchange is happening in this Bhagavad Gita? This is what the hearer knows the heart of the speaker. And then the Bhagavad Gita flows. So thank you very much. Thank you for your very patient hearing and your participation. And we look forward to continue this very, very intimate exchange of Arjuna and Krishna on next Saturday. Dayashil Prabhu, that will be 24th. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.